They can see what.
He does, I can see how we're obviously. It's not a small, they share so much of brand from that, there's a lot. Urgent, but that, but then you start this.
Yeah.
These.
And they go to your campus.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
You're sharing. And I thought it was an announcement.
Now, he's out there, but
Check your field. I'm pretty sure you're on. Like just. Are you? Oh, but then you. Set.
Yeah.
You know, it's done. Then I go out there.
Yeah.
And I give me.
It's a fire. It's a business trip.
And then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And days. It's all.
Hey Ryan, I just called that stucco rep Jason. He was really helpful, so thank you. Well, because I had like another, well, I thought she was like one of our agents. I didn't catch who she was. I heard you say Adam, but I didn't understand. But I had called like a different person and like they're not in real estate. I didn't understand, like, I'm trying to negotiate, but not like this, but I am in a time frame. So he's receptive of that world, so. I mean, it's a positive topic. Yeah, like he gets like what we're looking for. I was like, I understand you can't do it, but I have to negotiate, right? Like.
Yeah.
So I just got off the phone with him like 5 or 6. He actually lives like 2 minutes from the house.
Can you log into? That's what we're checking. Thank you.
The other nightmare with the deed. Like, so we're going to court, so it's gonna take 2 or 3 months. But luckily, like lender wise, I learned there's really no ramifications, because rates are dropping, right? So we don't have to worry about rate off for people, just like trying to keep them in the deals. But they have like 20 paying sellers.
Do they have an out there? They can.
Well, that's what I wanted to, I gotta make sure, like, if we extend, we put some kind of, like, when we were on the phone, I wrote something down, like, they have reserved the right to.
Ground, but how many times we hold it more before we turn the deposit or something?
Right.
Or if you wouldn't, if they're willing to wait. And into 30, and just kind of gauge how that is going, and then you could say. I at least there's a right to terminate anything to such a year.
Court works, right, like, I know the court could take a month or 3 months,
That's correct.
but do we get any updates? We're in.
When I said. September.
And they're just so set on like, well, Darren, told me, like, look, if a deed is recorded, and I pull a deed, and it has a name on it, that's. I can.
Yes.
Yeah, but Darren is not, is whatever happens down the road.
Yeah.
And that's living it, like putting our license on the line for a minor who could get whipped if he had. So I've learned a lot, but it's just like. Something that never should have happened. All in one deal.
The 15.
Let them in and out. When they do.
Depending on.
I guess some
The
of the
back tire would wear out. That bad, you don't carry a patch.
to be around just so we're not, you know. I know,
But I-
the first time I
Gotcha.
do until you get a.
I looked at these, piece of paper.
Yeah, no, okay, he'll
be 10 years.
Oh, yeah, everyone said he taught us to do it, so.
Like. Something like that.
Yeah, tell him to say something else to me.
And.
We always, I fill a box myself and.
Yeah.
get it
I mean,
every single year.
Well, that's the number.
Okay, yeah, you know me then.
Last time I had you, I can do it. You didn't do it. Yeah. Cause I didn't, he was really planning on riding it, that was made. We took it down
Yeah.
to Tennessee in September.
I think it's.
Had a couple little.
Make sure Hanover.
Like,
I just wanna make sure.
Yeah.
You don't need to.
Yeah.
You guys
But appreciate you all showing up today for our August meeting. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Used to do that in school.
Next month, we're the national anthem. Just gonna lead it.
Oh,
If you did it already, and you didn't, make sure you get your giveaways. Display the giveaways right there, so, we have a couple of different things to offer to you guys. Just do some gratitude. Good. I'm still getting pressure you guys, will be fine. We have a lot of good things. I'll start it. I want to thank ALC and everybody that showed up for the family picnic last month. Or I'm sorry, a couple weeks ago, actually. I think we ended up having 60+ people, I counted, lots of kids. We're always battling weather with that picnic, it feels like 130 degrees of one year, and now it was like kind of rainy, but still had a good turnout, so appreciate you guys for ALC for putting that on and helping us with that. Gregory.
Thank Bob for helping me out with showing when I was away. And thank Tina for considering our offer, but declining it.
Jeff?
I want to thank the Hanover, Williams office. I'm getting involved with Waste for Tots, so Adams County. They needed someplace to, fill up 40 gift baskets for the raffle in October. And the ownership of that office has approved me to let them use our office to do that and install their stuff until.
Good.
So that's a big deal to them.
Very good. Let us, and I know you said Hanover, but let us, any of us. Couple more?
Thanks to Diana for showing a property for me when I was on vacation again.
I got
$175.
Did more. A little bit more.
I'm gonna thank all of you for voting for me for the RAAC board. When you vote, I think I sent everybody an email out. I interviewed and the board accepted me as a nominee. So it's gonna be my first big volunteer engagement.
We actually have two this year. We have,
Roxanne.
Yep.
so, yeah, definitely very.
Let's represent.
Yeah.
We love to have our agents in supporting the board and bringing back value. Tina dedicated a lot of time, Reed dedicated a lot of time, Brian Burkheimer, who else am I missing? Anybody else? But now it seems like we're keeping a good rotation of folks going in, so appreciate your time to volunteer in that. And same with Roxanne.
Just to have, KW represented and know what's going on.
And I don't bite my tongue either.
And then that's good because, a lot of the
Okay.
other,
Not all the time.
the bigger brokerages, have more people, so they tend to be able to flood the market. So it's nice that we're in there.
So there's two agents there that are worrisome, and that's Brenda Drawball and Martin Carter.
They're worrisome.
Well, they've been around a long time.
Well, just because you've been around doesn't mean,
Well, and to that point, there's like 4 spots.
yeah,
So
yeah.
usually in the past, there's only been like 4 and 4.
Right.
Kind of gets in, so definitely wanna, again, make your.
So go to the annual meeting.
Do you have the date? I'm in.
It is October 8th.
Okay.
So it'll be
It's
breakfast,
gonna be a busy day.
yeah, at the Wyndham, breakfast, and, I think the speaker is from NAR.
Well, that's probably pretty good. Good timing.
I can't remember her name, because I don't have to. But yeah,
One more. Take that, ready to go ahead
I'd
and
like to thank you, Rachel, and, for answering my questions. Good time. James, thanks for helping, and hopefully we got new agents. And Dan for helping with my.
I wanna thank James for helping us all the time. You can tell like 24/7. Anytime I give him a call, right away, he answer all my questions, so. I'm feel very like, I wanna appreciate your help. Thank you so much for doing this. And it's not only for me, for all the team that we are.
You're crushing it right now. How many closings have you had? I mean, pendings?
Six.
Six,
Two?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
you've been with us for,
He just listed a house in Columbia.
been with us 4 times?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anybody else before I move on? I appreciate that. Belief system, let's just shout them out real quick. We'll go through this. We do this every month, but it's good to hear it.
Win-win or no deal.
Integrity.
You guys can all say it.
Commitment in all things. Communication, seek first to understand.
Before results.
Teamwork, together everyone achieves more.
Trust starts with honesty.
Equity, opportunities for all.
We always, the S gets cut off. Thank you. All right, that's good. State of the company, July, pretty good. Historically, February and July are usually always our tougher months. Why? I don't know. You can probably look at different things. February, you're coming out of that holiday season, everyone wants to hang out, party, family, friends. And then that ultimately impacts your February, and then July, I don't know, maybe just because of the burnout from that spring market, but this year, we did very, very well. I'm very happy with how July turned out. You guys did a fantastic job. We're sitting at 176 total agents. We gained 5 last month. We closed, these numbers, this right? Hang on a second. Closed 167 units. So that is, I think these are not correct. No, they're good. So that one just got this. Sales volume, over 43 mil, listings taken, future business, listings sold. We're a little bit light on listings sold still. We're talking about, someone keeps doing. Wonderful. It's every month.
That was happening on Monday during our regional call.
I'm not sure how to change the slides on the thing. Let me see if I can stop share. Share. Oh, now. Keep going. Anyways, just let me know if it is or not. Listening, so we're a little bit lopsided. I was talking about this in the ALC. We're now 60-40 buy side, 60 on the buy side, a little bit heavier. So it switched a little bit. All that really means is we're not really carrying the market share that we used to, but we're still getting the total deals done, which is fine. And then we go into sold volume, contracts written, again, still healthy. There's future business written is our future business. We'd like to see that. And then we did another over $1 million in GCI. So that's paid out commissions to you guys. So that's a really good number, right? If we do over $1 million paid out commissions, we see good numbers all around. So PC, got a lot of updates on that.
So Aaron Becker got 2 new listings. He got one of them under contract.
Yeah, that's it.
Ginger's been on a roll. She had 2 sales last month and she got another one under contract.
Yeah, she's been crushing it and all. And I don't know, I tell her story a lot, but it was all from one cold call that started dodging her. didn't return calls. She kept doing it, was persistent, followed up. Finally, he was like, all right, let's go look at some homes. And now I think she's on her fourth one.
She's still working with them to get the.
Yeah, so all from one person and been with us 3 months, so it's awesome.
And
there you go.
Malak's got a buyer sold, in July. He's actually got some other stuff going on in August, but that'll be it next week. So we're still doing the, pay score stuff. I've got cards for you guys to hand out with the QR code and the website on the back. So if you do need cards, you can go to the next slide. You need cards, to hand out, where Ryan and I have been really ramping up our pay score program. You can go to the next slide. 78 people signed up in July. 51 just for August, and we're a little bit halfway through August. But here's the big thing. So, you know, I've been doing career nights. You want to guess how many people I've got coming to career night?
5.
Jeez. I'll take you.
Please, 56. I've got 56 people coming here next week. Thanks, Tina. You got 56 people coming next week. Well, between next week, and there's so many people coming between next week, and I've had to do one the following week. Malak's gonna be coming to help me do them, to kind of give them an idea of what kind of, what kind of success you can have. So, but yeah, we've got 56 people signed up for career night.
So what James and I have been working on, is that we had this case score program. We've been talking about for what, 2 years now? And it's a free program that we give that individuals that want to be in real estate can go to real estate school for free scholarships. And we're like dropping the ball with like using that tool. So we started like kind of networking with other companies and market centers in Harrisburg, Harrisburg East. And all because of the system. So we're replicating their system. It's a little bit of Indeed ads, a little bit of more promotion, but it's going to be neat to see the data that starts to come in because of July. A lot of them were new to business that came out of the school. We signed 2 yesterday that just came out of the school. So we're hoping that we're getting 5 new fresh agents every month. That's the goal, that are coming in and like we don't have to retrain. We can teach them the right ways, accountability. And then you get the Malaks and you get the Gingers and you get everybody in PC that are seeing success from our training. And that's what we're looking at doing. So I'm anxious to see how this develops. And I mean, there's going to be a lot more kind of tweaking to the process, but we're already starting to see some good data.
Ryan, are you guys promoting the Hanover and Gettysburg?
Everywhere. We're doing a centralized location like of our area. Yeah, so Indeed, we have 190 people signed up, but then obviously then that's
So actually with this deed right now, we've had 250 applicants.
total. July was.
Yeah. And, yeah, it's really starting to work out. A lot of meetings. Good.
All right, happy birthdays. I think we have a few. I saw Joe, and there he is. Joe had his birthday, number 41. Why you gotta be so aggressive? Making sure I'm still younger. Kristen sitting over here. Happy birthday to you guys. Who else is on?
Her number.
Lori, Justin, Matt Rundle, everybody, Alex, Susan Becker, Brandy, saw her pop up on Zoom. Happy birthday to you guys. Belinda's not here. She actually had a client invite her back to the house that she sold, that Brittany house. Yeah, Brittany, they moved here from Australia. So she was finally able to connect with them. So she's like, Ryan, I'm gonna miss the meeting. But wanted me to share this. So if you remember, Life Path Ministries, we donated our time, volunteered and helped to give back to our community during Red Day for the ones that came to the York ones. And in doing so, she kind of realized there's a partnership there and giving a little bit more, kind of like we did with Logos Academy. So she raised some money. She was hitting you guys up for Venmo and supplies last month. And by doing that, she actually did over 500, but She went, and got the supplies, and they were so appreciative, and actually, one thing that I think we all take for granted, other than I said this earlier than COVID, is toilet paper. And they go through, I can't remember. how many,
100 a day, she's.
100 a day, a roll, so. I think what we're gonna start doing, we have a couple ideas brewing on how we can continue to work with LifePath and support them in their needs. But, because of you guys, because of everybody that was able to participate in that, oh, there it is. I guess it's just. Yeah, so thank you for reading. We're gonna continue to get back for that, but that's their biggest need. So if you're ever at the store, pick up a little 4-pack, bring it in, Belinda will run it over. And again, a lot of appreciation right here in our backyard. Oh, big announcement. Big announcement. We have a new broker. And he's local. And he's sitting right here. Will is part of the Dillsburg area. He's been with us for 6 years or 4 I feel like it's been longer. But how long have you been in the business? 34 years. 34 years. Comes with a wealth of knowledge. Had a Remax franchise for quite some time. Right in that was the broker, the leader of that. And he has been gracious enough to understand that we are in need of somebody more accessible, somebody with a 717 number, right? You still have it. But, and so he's been, he's taken on the opportunity to work alongside us leadership and everybody here to help support you guys. Of course, myself and any of your office managers and leaders can always help you with the general questions, but hopefully we don't have to bother him too much with the legal stuff, but he is here, he's sitting here, which is fantastic. And he's only a few minutes away of a drive, so let's welcome Will one more time. Say anything, you're good. Good. You told me, so I'm not gonna put this. First timer club. I want to congratulate Chelsea Hinkle. She got 2 listings, and one of them actually under contract. And then Terry Glover just came in, turned in his first commission check a couple days ago. So congratulations to those guys. Production board. We hosted it, we've seen it, but we had some awesome numbers. The individual stats were great. We had 9 people doing over $1 million in individual volume. So that's huge. And Miss Kate Burgess back on the top spot of the board, shared the units with Mike. Mike just missed it. $7,000 or no, $2,000. Pretty crazy. But it was that close. Petula had another amazing month. And actually, Bren came back. Nada, I'm going to get ahead of the slide. I saw she's in Colorado actually, but first time on the board, had a fantastic month at 1.3. And then we had our big players of teams. Liz comes back with over 8 million. That's a fantastic 35 units. Moby Neal, Lane's team, Jeremy Tolley's team, and Dave Monsor. Greg and Brian popped up on the units. We actually had a lot of 4 units. So the tiebreakers are always volume, is how we do it. But congratulations to you guys. Round of applause. And there it was, Nada. I don't know if she's in Colorado, probably a little bit of a time difference, but congratulations to her. We have 2 blanks there, but we welcomed a couple new agents since our last meeting. Emily actually transferred. She was up at Keller Williams, one of the Harrisburg, so lives in Edders, is a little bit more of a easier commute down here. And Jared and Mackenzie, they exist, but they signed up yesterday. So they onboarded yesterday with Julie, and they're new agents as well. So as you start to see some new faces, please reach out, welcome them. All right, what do we got next? Oh, some events. All right, we got Doing Deals coming up. That's an online event. And we keep pushing these through Facebook, so kind of keep an eye out. One more par form, I believe at this time, and maybe they'll develop some more, but par form updates. If you still find yourself with questions or just want a quick refresher on all the changes that went into effect last week, hopefully you guys all understand that and know that, but That's another refresher that FAR is doing. Scott Leroy Marketing, so this is our IT tech support, backend, and I don't think we utilize them enough, but they'll help you, any command related questions, concerns, for campaigns, setting up your website, they're there to help you. Referrals overview, another class based on referrals. Mr. Jeff Selby's big on referrals. He has a lot of referral networks, so he's great with that. What's new with Scott Leroy? We got more Scott Leroy stuff. Again, we're unveiling a lot of different things, tweaks with command, tweaks with websites, so educate yourself with that. New agent orientation for those that are newer. There's orientation at RAYAC. We have wealth building, which is every Wednesday, and then Michelle's running a book club. A couple things that aren't in there. I want to make sure that, and this is future down the road, I want to just talk about real quick because October is going to be a busier month. We have Harrisburg East is holding Bold. That's the class for you, man. Bold is, for those that you don't know, it's kind of like a boot camp for agents. It's hitting that reset button. It's getting you back into the mindset of grinding out lead generation, scripting, calls, presentations, all the different things. 8-week course, 1 day a week, 5 hours. They've cut it down, minimized it, made it a little bit more feasible. But that is coming at Harrisburg East October 8th. So we'll be doing a lot more advertisement around that. We have business planning clinic also coming. I think Jeff, you went that, Seth went that. It's finally in our backyard. It's finally in Harrisburg this time. So Tim Beverlin, somebody I know pretty well. He is, that's October 17th. He's going to be coaching that one. That's a great class. We'll be putting more out on that. And then you have the RAYAC.
Annual meeting.
What you said, that's the 8th as well. So that's going to be a busy day. We'll have to balance that out, but what else?
Isn't there a cornhole tournament, RAYAC sponsor coming up?
Yeah, that's in September. That is,
It's usually it's 10.
that is the 12th at
Okay.
Goofy's.
Okay, both at Goofy. So and we'll get all these events out. We'll make sure, but we're gonna get busy with hosting on events for in the fall. So just kind of watch your calendar, work towards your calendar, pick the ones that are gonna be the most beneficial to you. As always, we'll do some in-house training. I'm gonna be working with Joe a little bit closer on what that looks like. We have some good ideas from the ALC, so we'll be bringing that to you guys.
And PAR is up in Harrisburg on September 16th and 17th. It is free. It's always exciting and interesting and fun. Actually, no, it's not, but. Yeah, but it's really, it is interesting. And if you want to like gritch and complain about the forms, it's nice to sit in on those meetings because then you can put in your 2 cents worth because we're the ones who make the changes. And so, if you sit in the room, you can raise your hand and say, why are we doing this? And what can we do about this?
Any other events anybody wants to speak about that I missed? And we'll have September's meeting, so we'll talk about those updated stuff, but just keep an eye on Facebook, keep an eye on your calendar. We try to send you guys everything just to make sure that you're not missing it. Kathy. Hey, guys. Have anything you wanted to add, hometown?
Couple things. I thank everybody for what you've been bringing to me. I appreciate it. I'm always up there. You have any questions, call, email, whatever. I have a list of some people that I need to personally meet after this meeting.
For good things.
Good things, absolutely for good things. So, anything I can do for anybody? Are there any questions for me?
Any questions from the title side things, anything you learned?
I have a comment. Make sure, guys, if your sellers or your buyers are paying any commission that you tell the title company, they're probably gonna start asking you for your CBC forms, and also your buyer agency forms to confirm what the commission you're being paid is.
Yeah.
So that's come up with lenders as well, so keep that in mind to help Kathy out.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing you want to do is say, hey, great news, your costs are this, and then, oh, I forgot to screen it. Just be careful, make sure you're looking over your settlement sheets closely, all your stuff there, everything, there's nothing expected. And communicate that with your consumers, buyers and sellers.
Thanks, Dave.
Well,
Mr. Harkins, where's he at? There he is. He's in a hoodie today, cold.
it's cold down there, 50 degrees.
Give us some good news.
I know. So rates are down, everybody knows, right?
You were right.
Finally.
Yes, 4 years.
So, the Fed hasn't cut rates yet, but Wall Street feels very confident that they will, to the point that they priced in a 50% cut, basically across the market. So, the next meeting's not till September 17th, 18th. I think you'll likely see a cut at that time. You know, rates have just continued to come down, like I watch it day by day, like I get notifications and it's like tick down, tick down, so. You know, I don't think inside of a year you could be in the fives, you know what I mean, like you could be in 5 to 6 months, right? Inflation starting to cool, that's one of the main factors that they were concerned about with this cut, whether they cut a full 50 basis points or not. They may just cut a quarter. I do think when they do the cut, if there is one, whatever happens, I expect a lot of volatility for like that first week after. So like, if you got people that are like payment sensitive and you're kind of teeter-tottering around that September timeframe that they're gonna meet, like, make sure your lender's got them locked in. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want them blowing out of the deal because rates jump up a quarter of a point because they were wrong about something, right? What we expect to see, you know, we all know about the rates because we're like very like aware of it. Everybody gets emails from lenders, stuff like that. But like, you know, there's been a little bit of headline news, but not like a ton. I expect when the Fed cuts, you're gonna see like a lot of headline news. And I think you're gonna see a lot of activity start to come at that point. I think you'll see a lot of buyers and sellers kind of coming out the woodwork. What the expectation would be on my side is I think you'll see more buyers, more sellers, more transactions, right? I think right now, it's still very competitive. There's still an inventory shortage, but as rates fall, those sellers who have been like holding off on selling because rates kind of suck, may be willing to actually trade in that 3% rate for like a 5.5 or a 6% rate where like they were holding out and didn't want to take 7.5. So I think you're going to see the activity tick way up. And I think what better time than as we're going into the colder months where it's usually less transactions, you know?
How will the election then like kind of impact? So we're gonna see this drop, but then naturally that usually. See, but naturally that goes to be volatile.
Right, like.
Do we expect them to go down a little, but then maybe pick back up? Like,
Volatility.
right, so just continue to see that throughout the year.
Yeah, we do. I think they traditionally always try to bring things up in here, which is kind of, you know, and I think you're gonna continue to kind of see that hover and drop down and.
Like piggyback off the Fed.
Time, but I wouldn't tell people that, so they hold off on doing shit, you know what I mean? Like, I think, you know, everybody always wants, like, we started the conversation with all our clients about refinances, and like, if you're looking for a reason to call your database right now, like, it's an excellent reason. Like, hey, just reaching out, want to make sure you know where interest rates are. It may not be the time for you to do a refinance, but like, you need to start having that conversation with your lender to see what number it needs to be at for it to make sense, because it'll likely be there. Because you think about everybody that bought in the last couple of years, right? I mean, we looked at deals, I looked at a deal you and I did, and it was like all but 8%. And they were very clean buyers, but that's just what it was, and you know? So, you know, that conversation for people like at about 5.5%, like it really starts to make sense, dollars and cents wise. So if you're bringing them that information, they're going to hold you in a higher esteem because you're making that call to them. So I think it's a good reason to reconnect with your clients, especially the ones from the last 2-3 years. And they all got more equity, you know what I mean? Like, the market's been kind. So a lot of times they're eligible to drop mortgage insurance once they've been in the home for 2 years, things like that. So be the source of information, you know, like, I think it'll position you well. And then when they are ready to buy and sell, like, you're their person. So questions about anything else? Just hit me with something big. So you always got something.
I might put you on the spot in a second. So, I think Ryan and I were the only two in the room that were at Mega Camp. Is that right? Sitting there. Gary's 3 scenarios for next year. I think that was super interesting. I don't know if you're like that moment. I don't know if I was in the room for that, but Gary Keller gave like 3 scenarios for next year, and the reason I'm bringing up, well, Andrew's talking about rates is because essentially like, there's three sort of directions that they see, that the economists of KW see that the future looks, and one of them is sort of status quo, no recession. And as Andrew was just saying, that sort of teeter totter and then gradual slide off is about what they expect to happen over the course of not just the end of this year, but going into next year. The next two scenarios are super interesting for us. So number one is we're already in an industry specific recession. And anybody else feel that? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Great, right? Because like in the last 2 years, we've seen a 20% reduction in the number of sales nationwide that have happened, and the amount of commission dollars available for all of us to go out and get has reduced by about the same 20-ish%. So that's a recession to us. But the greater economy hasn't been in one yet. Two scenarios of possible recession behavior that happen next year. Number one would be an overall sort of general economic recession, as unemployment would be the number one ticker for that. And if unemployment goes up, and to his point, then inflation starts to drop. If you start to see those indicators, we will probably see a pretty dramatic reduction in rates, potentially to the 5s. That's what Gary put on the screen. I think it was something in the 5s. That sounds pretty exciting. If that happens and the greater economy has a recession, we would actually, as an industry, see more home sales, and we would go to about 5 million home sales, which would be almost 500,000 or more home sales next year than this year nationwide, which would be great for all of us. The greater economic recession wouldn't be awesome, but we would probably be the beneficiaries of that. The third scenario that they put out there was 3.5 to 4% interest rates. Who loves that?
Everybody.
Yay, except that would be the result of a massive commercial banking crash. So that was the third possible scenario, is that commercial banking has essentially a 2008-ish looking crash. And that causes a greater banking pullback. And not to be doom and gloom, it's literally the three options they put on the screen for all 5,000 of us. And that third scenario would be the commercial banking industry has a big pullback that leads over to the residential market, and then that would cause rates to drop, right? The last times our rates have dropped have been the Great Recession and COVID, and neither of those would we probably mark as a great moment in our lives. So it takes something bad to cause that, but if that happens, we would probably see a rate drop to the 3 to 4% range, according to what they said, and we would see unit counts drop for the next year, and then probably rebound on the back end of that. So that's what they said at Mega Camp. So to speak to what Andrew was talking about with rates, like this time right now for dialogue and talking about, potential like database conversations, it's absolutely the time, and what you're describing with the Fed is exactly what they said with it. So that's my Mega Camp gift, by the way.
I can email out some data points that Ryan can share out too, just so like if you guys have talking points, if you are making this call, it would be a little helpful,
You know, Facebook page in the group.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it. So with that being said, just and what Joe was saying, like if rates are gonna come down and we start to kind of see an uptick in our sales. Make sure that with the changes, we have the value presentation, you got all your stuff in a row, your ducks in a row, making sure that you're adjusting to this new market. So if you haven't yet, Joe's been running some really good value classes. Attendees, we took away some really good stuff from, Jeremy has an awesome program, Kev had some great input, and for those that were there's some good things that you can take out of that. Our next speaker, I forgot about this. We're giving a box, this is a home buyer kit for you guys. I'm gonna give you each one if you want one. We do have a ton of them, so if you like the idea of giving this to your buyers, they're $5, but the first one I'm gonna give you guys for attending for free. So has a lot of samples in here. This one's missing some stuff. Not sure who's grabbing. Might have to look at cameras. But there's a lot of stuff in here. It's pretty cool. Something that you give your buyers. There might have been. I don't know. All right. We got 2 calls today. So first one's gonna be Cloud Stuff from America's Preferred Home Warranty. Have you ever been to a Keller Williams event? They're typically there. So I'm gonna give you the floor for a few minutes and your slides, please. Yeah, just kind of clear.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, everyone, for having me here today. We are very excited. We are a Keller Williams approved vendor. So all of our materials, you've seen them around the office, they're all Keller Williams red, which is really nice if you're giving things to someone. I'm going to be putting out for you today some buyer and seller benefit sheets. So if you want to know how do I talk to a buyer or seller about getting a home warranty? Great place to start. And then also, anytime you want, we can schedule a workshop. I've been doing scripting workshops with agents to help them feel comfortable. Because what we want you to do is be able to explain this to buyers and sellers so that they're excited, they pay for it. And then because of our relationship with Keller Williams Keystone, we're able to pay $75 per closed warranty. So it's a RESPA compliant program, which means there's a short form, and I'll show you in the slides what you need to complete on each one. But we're really excited to be here and to partner with you folks. So now, this is my contact information. If anyone is interested in either saving time, so you can order warranties quickly, do that RESPA compliant form quickly to get paid, or if you want to order any of the KW branded marketing materials, they're free and they ship for free. If you scan this code, you can go in there. We'll get you set up with a Real Pro login. And then the other thing that we'll do is who uses social media in their business. Okay. So we've got a lot of social media posts. They're about home ownership, maintenance, return on investment for improvements in the house. They're ready to go. They're not APHW branded. They're just something you can stick in there. So if you want to get something up and today's not a day, you have a lot of time to spend. What do I want to do? Something that you can just put right in there. So if you scan that with your QR code and that's your agency number, and we can come back to this. And Ryan also has the slides, so you can even send this out if you do a little recap of your. So, biggest difference with us. How many people here have used a home warranty in their business or in their own home? So quite a few of you. Biggest difference with us is we let the homeowner choose who they want for all cover repair. So we don't have a list of contractors. We don't give you a list and say, hey, call these people to come out. We don't say, hey, be there Tuesday at 10 because that's when we're sending a plumber. All the homeowner does is go online or call us. And we are 365 days a year, 24/7. We have 2 call centers in Michigan. Wait time is typically about 15 seconds. It is a little higher. June, July, when people are turning on their AC for the first time, that is our busiest time. Always there's a prompt to hit 4 because you're an agent. It jumps you to the front of the line. So if you ever have to call that 800 number, make sure you use the prompt because it will put you right in first place. But they get a claim number, call whoever they want. So let's just say it's their AC isn't working. They call whoever they want, they come out, figure out what the problem is, quick call to us to confirm that it is a covered item. They do the work, we actually pay them with a credit card over the phone before they leave the house. So there's no extra paperwork that a contractor has to complete in order to get paid. They're not waiting 30 to 60 days to get paid. It's a credit card over the phone. If they don't accept a credit card, we can send them a check. So really easy to use and really easy to get things taken care of quickly. Here's the big thing that we find, and I worked on the brokerage side for over 20 years. I was a relocation director and I was licensed also. Right now, prices are high, right? And I come from the Philadelphia area and prices are unbelievable. Sometimes I think it's a typo when I see listings. I just think that's got to be a typo. So prices are really high. Rates are still relatively high. And I say that as somebody who bought their first house back in the 80s. So double digits were what we were used to when you were a buyer back then. But still their monthly payments are super high right now, right? And a little bit more probably than they set out to have their budget be. Something goes wrong, the faster you can get it fixed and have that assistance financially in getting it taken care of, slightly it's going to be anything else. They get it taken care of quickly, goes back to normal, the flame goes down, and that's our goal. So pricing, we are, I think, such a great value. We had a price increase back in January. We kept our $499 for the single family home with a $100 deductible. What we did add was the $50 deductible plan is $650, and that's because it now includes identity theft protection with up to $1 million coverage for everyone in the house. So what we were finding was in talking to agents, you know, as Ryan said, if you've been to any regional or national KW event, we're there. And we're talking to agents and brokers. And everyone's talking about everything that's going on in terms of cybercrime, especially surrounding transactions, right? I have a friend who, when I worked for a brokerage, she sent me an email, I never got it, and she said, well, that's crazy. Like, what if I was a client and my email went into spam? And I said, or what if I was a buyer and I was trying to get information? I said, as soon as we start a transaction with you, there's a portal. You can't trust email anymore. It's tough. So when people are buying a house, they're putting a lot of information out there, whether it's applying for a mortgage, homeowners insurance, whatever it is. There's a lot of opportunity, a lot of exposure for fraud. So that became one of the things that people were interested in. How do I protect my client, not just the house, but also their financial house after the sale? And you can see we do condos, we do multifamily, we do mobile homes, we do manufactured homes, we do all of that. We also have coverage for the seller during the listing period. So as long as you order that warranty to offer to the buyer before it goes under contract, we have all of these things covered. List Secure is phenomenal because it provides some legal coverage for the seller. So if the seller has this in place for up to 2 years after closing, if there's any legal action, they need to consult an attorney. We're there if they have a $100 deductible plan with them, $1,000. They have a $50 deductible plan for them. So it's a different conversation if you're saying you need to consult an attorney and you're supposed to do that. And this is the same as, it works the same as the warranty in that they choose the attorney. So they could choose whoever they want, it's going to be that many hours depending upon that attorney's hours. But it's there for them. You're protecting them during the listing period and after closing. There's an upgrade plan that would add the kitchen appliances and the heating and air conditioning during the listing period for the seller. And this is what we just talked about, that listing coverage, 2 years of post-sale legal protection. And these are the standard things that the buyer coverage contained. We added about a year and a half ago, the exterior water and sewer line. That's something we hadn't had before. And also the washer and dryer used to be an upgrade, it was $85, and we folded that in with the standard coverage. And then we have an upgrade package. It's $199, and it covers a lot of the accessory pieces that go along with the standard coverage. And this is our best coverage, so it's at $650, and it's 1 year of the home warranty with the $50 deductible and that home title and identity theft protection. And the Premier 825 single family home, 760 for a townhouse condo. So this is $1 million in coverage. The whole entire household is covered, 24/7, 365 victim hotline. Coolest thing for you though, suppose you order this warranty, you're working with buyers, they get the warranty, or your homeowner, your seller offers this to the buyer because you're the agent on that side of the transaction. Every month, there's an email that's going to go out from AIG to the homeowner. So they're going to open it because it's a recap of, hey, here's what happened the month before. Did we find your name on the black web? Did we find passwords on the black web? Did we nip something in the bud? So the homeowners are going to open that. At the bottom, it's going to have your name, brought to you by your agent, Ryan Miller. It's going to be on there. So that's 12 touches, because everybody knows the unfortunate NAR stat that a year after closing, 87% of buyers can't remember their agent's name. It's amazing, but year after year, that continues to be the case. So here's 12 touches built right in, which I love that. So identity theft, I think everyone either has a story, unfortunately, or they have a friend or a that has a story. I know my sister-in-law bought a house at the Jersey Shore a couple of years ago. About 6 weeks after closing, she got a Home Depot bill in the mail. She doesn't have a Home Depot account. So when she opened it up, it was obvious that somebody came into a Home Depot at the Jersey Shore. They bought $5,000 or $6,000 worth of building materials, charged it. She gets the bill. It took them months It says here 6 months, and I think it took them longer than that. So they finally got Home Depot to admit this should never have been open. But in the meantime, they got to the point where Home Depot was threatening to sue them because they hadn't been paid the bill. So everybody unfortunately has a story about this. And this is on the rise. Equity, home equity is up. People have more equity than ever. So the snatch and grab home equity loans averages $103,000 in losses. So we do have, for everybody who's working at home, they have kids, I feel so bad, I have grandchildren, they don't have snow days anymore, they just have school at home. You gotta have your router up and running and your computers. Everything has to be up and running to continue working at home. So we have a home entertainment and technology package. It's $199 per year, and it covers pretty much everything except your cell phone. And then upgrades, if you have additional refrigerators, gas fireplace, in-ground pools, we cover all of those. And clients interest, this is something really important for you. If you have the warranty on your transaction, or you get the waiver signed, the waiver is on the inside of our brochure, and we also have it, I've given it to Julie as a PDF. Get your buyer or seller to sign that, and then I'll show you a short form that you want to fill out and just email to us so that we have an idea of how many waivers we have out there. Because for us, we are going to take care of you for up to a year after closing. If you have a claim and get to pay a deductible. So if you have the waiver or the $100 deductible plan for up to a year after closing, we would be there with 75% of your E&O deductible up to $3,750. If you've got the $50 deductible, it's going to be 100% up to $5,000. Brian, do you know off the top of your head what yours is?
Deductible?
Yeah.
5.
5. So if you had that gold package, we would be handling the entire deductible for you. So this is the form on the inside of the brochure, and then this is the data collection form. Fastest way to do this is on RealPro. It's sections 1 and 4. If you have a RealPro account, section 4 is already completed for you. But we need that because we have gotten to a point where we have so many agents now coming to us. We used to just say, get the signature if you need to file a claim with us for Client Secure. Then we're going to ask you for the waiver. But what happened was, as the number of agents coming to us with claims because they had a deductible pay was rising, we had to have an idea of how many waivers do we have out there, knowing that, like in the state of Michigan, where we're headquartered, we went from, I think it was from 21 to 22, 1.5% historically on all transactions ended up either with some type of legal case or mediation, and it went up to 4%. So just, we know there, it's just about triple there. So just, we meet this form just so we have an idea of what our possible liability could be there. And we want to continue to be there as a partner to be able to pay for this for you in the unfortunate event that you need it. So this is RealPro. And again, the data collection and the waiver. Lots of easy ways to order. Believe it or not, I just recently had somebody who in an order, and I was just thought, if you're just lucky it got to us before closing because they sent it snail mail. I would say RealPro is the fastest way to go to get everything done. That data collection form, that's what you need also to complete that, all 4 sections. You have 60 days from closing to get that in. That will then trigger a check to the Market Center, and the Market Center will pay you $7. Everything's in the brochure, what we cover, what we don't cover, the terms and conditions. Claims are so easy. Most people want to actually talk to someone. You can do it online, but we found people really, when they have a problem, they want to talk to someone. So as I said, typically about a 15-second lead time to get that claim number. These are, you're looking at the generic marketing material, but everything that you would get would be Keller Williams branded. It's red, it says Keller Williams approved vendor on it. It's free and it ships for free, so take advantage of it. I just threw so much stuff at you. It's like, I know Ryan looked at my slide, I think he gulped like, so please be absolutely call me, email me. I'd love to talk with you one-on-one, answer your question. I can actually do a quick Zoom with you to set up RealPro, give you a quick tutorial, 10-15 minutes. Once you've done it once, you're good to go. Okay. Thanks, everybody.
One more thing, I want to make sure we talk about that. You said because of your partnership here, if they use the warranty, they get $75. You guys get $75. So you can make some money off of it, but more importantly, you're protecting your buyers with a great warranty. Or you're incentivizing sellers to provide that to buyers in their offers. So, we have brochures, content all over the place, in the office here, and, you can easily get all. All right, man of the hour. Who here has heard Jeff speak, know Jeff, worked with Jeff? Good show of hands. Remember him from last year? He brings a lot of energy, a little bit different from me. So excited to have him back. I think it's always good to bring in these types of speakers that can help us in our business in areas that maybe we forget about. Good refresher, and again, highly respected in the area. I think Jeff can really help some of us in different situations. He's here to share what that is. So let's welcome Jeff.
All right, before I start though, I was shocked by that statistic that people don't remember their agents. Like, and I want you to know, Ryan, that my mother-in-law last night said to me, how are Ryan and Joe doing? Remember they sold it out? That was like 3 years ago?
Yeah, it might have been longer than that.
Yeah, so
Out by Honey Run.
yeah, so, all right, I'll keep this kind of short and sweet to the point. Is there anyone who has not ever heard me speak or knows absolutely nothing about me? Okay, so quick, just kind of overview. Right before the bar exam, my mom got very sick. Went to 2 lawyers, realized immediately that I did not want that experience to ever happen again. $300 to meet with them, no answers. You get done at the end of the meeting, you don't know a darn thing, and you spend $300. I did it again because I wanted the answers. Now I spent $600 and I still don't have the answers. And I said, we're not going to ever do that again. An attorney in town who was my mentor said to me, Jeff, you can't give education away for free. All lawyers have is their time and knowledge. You will go out of business. So in 6 months, when you're looking for a job, give me a buzz. I'll be happy to hire you. I'm proud to tell you that was in February of 2009. In February of 2019, he called me and needed to leave the practice because he wasn't making enough money to sustain himself and asked me to buy his practice. We are still doing everything through free education. Estate planning, crisis planning, administration, everything is free education. We tell prices up front. We give them all the pros and the cons. And then we hope they hire us because they like us. Not because we have $300 of their money or because they feel forced to. And it's gone well. We have an office in York and Lancaster, and we're doing 10 to 14 workshops in office a month. For all the free workshops for clients. So that's a nice, easy way to get people education without feeling like I'm sending them to a lawyer. Oh no, what's gonna happen? They can get the education and then decide from there. Estate planning and elder law. First question, what is it? I used to poll rooms. I don't do that anymore. I almost started World War II one time with 2 sisters. Sister on the right-hand corner of the room raises her hand. Estate planning. I don't. Estate planning is making sure that when mom enters the nursing home, not to lose $457,000 and 37 cents. She remembered the pennies. Sister next to her goes, absolutely not. Estate planning is when mom was end of life. When 2 doctors told us there was no hope, estate planning is having that document, a living will, in place so that we know whether mom wanted heroic and life-saving measures. But I didn't have to fight with my sister. That's estate planning. They were shoving each other in the parking lot. I don't ask it anymore. What I've found over 20 years is everybody says the same thing to me. Duh, I want to control my property while I'm alive and well. Keyword. Control. Thank you. Yeah, this is a participant. Anyone want to give up control? My last name is Balomo. No. All right. Fair enough. Control. Plan for me and my loved one if I become disabled. Think about disability. 30 years ago, we lived, we died. Right? Now we live. We can replace our knees, our hips, our elbows, our shoulders. What's the one thing we can't replace? Right? The brain. So now we go from here and then we start to do this. Now, this week, I was in a nursing home on 2 different occasions and 2 hospitals. They were laying flat on their back when they signed their documents. You know what they call that? Luck. Luck is not a plan. I want you to all remember that. So when the neighbor tells you, well, I did this and it worked, or I got away with it, you got lucky. Let's not count on luck. So let's plan when we're straight up. Who needs estate planning?
Yeah.
Who'd you think I was gonna say? Nobody. People always assume that estate planning has to do with what? Hear it all the time. I don't need your services. Why not? Because I don't have millions of dollars. Yeah, me neither, but I still need estate planning, right? Think about a financial power of attorney. Who is going to make decisions for you if you can't make them for yourself? Do you have to have millions of dollars to pay a phone bill? Or a cell phone, or a car, or a mortgage, or rent, right? Of course not. So who's going to make those decisions if we don't have a financial POA in place? Now we're going into a guardianship. A guardianship, in my opinion, is the most emotional thing you can ever go through. You are literally taking away somebody's rights to make decisions for themselves. How about we use a power of attorney, which allows someone to just assist and help out, and we don't have to bring someone into a courtroom and have testimony that they can't handle their own affairs. That's embarrassing. The last guardianship hearing that I did personally, the husband had a stroke, they weren't expecting it. The wife had the stroke. And the husband didn't get an estate or a power of attorney done because they were married. And I explained that that has nothing to do with needing a power of attorney. Yes, it does. We're married, I don't need it. She has a stroke. What we forgot, or what he forgot, was the accounts were all set up by her when he was away on a trip. Can he access the bank accounts if they're in her name? Can he access her retirement account? Right, of course not. Individual retirement account or a retirement account has to be in an individual's name. So we're in this courtroom taking away her rights to make decisions. And all she kept saying was, we were married for 45 years and this is the thank you I get. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. The judge says, ma'am, do you know what you had for breakfast? We were married for, she did not have capacity. But do you think that was hard on all of us in the room, right? So everyone needs it. It's not anything about millions of dollars. Financial power, medical power. Last living will, advanced healthcare directive, if it's in a medical power of attorney document, do you want heroic and life-saving measures? If two doctors put in writing that there's no realistic hope of recovery, make that decision for yourself so that your loved one doesn't have to make it. Very difficult to be put in a situation where you have to tell the doctor to withdraw treatment, because in their mind, they think they just killed their loved one. No, they didn't. They did exactly what the individual would have wanted and not live there not having the hope to ever live a normal life. But you don't ever remember that part, do you? Right? You only remember the fact that you were the one who said it. I remember a wife came into my office 2.5 years later and she said, you didn't tell me that he would be dead in 7 minutes. This is my fault that you didn't do a document that I asked you to do and that was free, right? So get it in place. That way it avoids the emotional part of it. I want to teach, this is the one thing I wanted to make sure I covered. These are my 3 lands. This is tax land. TAXLAND. Long-term care land. Estate planning land. All right, what'd you notice about the 3 lands? Anything?
You misspelled one.
What's that?
You misspelled one.
Oh. I wasn't intentional. They're far apart, right? They're separate, they're distinct, 3 separate lands. In estate planning, I want to control my property while I'm alive and well. Keyword. Control. All right, we all agree, control. Is there anybody who wants to argue with me that control is not important? We all agree. Okay. Tax land. Let's talk about what we can give away. Did you know that an individual can give away $18,000 a year to anyone that they want? It's called an annual exclusion gift. Okay, so mom can give me 18,000. Mom can give me 18,000 because I'm married to Whitney. That's 36. What can dad do? 36 and 36 is 72. I have a sister named Dina. What can they do for my sister Dina, who is also married? Another 72. What's 72 and 72? 144, right? That is per year, tax-free. Pretty powerful, right? Only 4 potential beneficiaries, 144 grand a year, tax-free to the giver, tax-free to the receiver. Got it? Plus, in addition to, mom can give away 13.61 million in her lifetime. My dad can give away 13.61 million in his lifetime. How many clients do you think I represent that have more than 27.22 million? 0. So what did I just tell you that 100% of my clients could give away tomorrow if they wanted?
Tax free.
Right? 100%. Tax free to the giver, tax free to the receiver. We all understand that. Okay, I want you to remember this. A gift is non-take-a-backable. Thank you for that. It's my delivery, I'm sorry. A gift is non-take-a-back. If I give it away, how well do I control it?
No.
Told me control is important. I said, is there anybody who wants to argue with me about control? And you all said, no, control is the most important. So why does everybody only focus on tackling? Well, what do most lawyers and accountants know? This is what most of us know. So because this is our knowledge base, everything we see or everything we think of is tax. So could my client give everything away tomorrow? Yes. Will they be giving up control? Yes. So my dad says to me, Jeffrey, I'm gonna put your name on everything. I said, over my dead body. He said, young man, that can be arranged. I said, oh, don't kill me, Dad. Why? What are the 2 reasons why most people want to put assets in their kids' names? Anyone know? Taxes and
The home can't take it.
long-term care. Home can't take it. So that's in 1982. I swear this sounds like a joke. In 1982, I went to see an elder law attorney in Pennsylvania. And that elder law attorney told us to put the kids' names on everything. What did they do? They didn't. He said it worked perfect. I said, Dad, you got lucky. He said, what? You got lucky. I said, you got lucky. Guys, if he puts my name on everything, who owns it? It's subject to whose divorce? Whose nursing? Whose car accident? Whose stupidity? My dad is far better off with his stupidity than my stupidity, I promise you. Right? He says, Jeffrey, I trust you. I said, Dad, you trust this version of me. You trust the version of the guy who stands before you today because you know I would do anything for you. But I can tell you 13 times in my career, where parents put their kids' names on the house. The kid got desperate. What do desperate people do? They do desperate things. What's that?
I said, find a realtor to sell that house.
My best friend. Mom put his name on it. I trusted him too, although I tried to talk him out of it. He lost his job. He found out his wife was leaving him. He filed an eviction notice 2 days later and kicked mom out of her house. And he sold. Now, did he have the right to sell? He owned it. Of course he did. Right? My dad says, I'm not worried about that. I trust you. I said, Dad, what if I die? What do you mean? I said, where's everything gonna go if I die? What? Will Whitney let you live in the house for free? He said, yes, absolutely. I said, okay, I believe that. Let me change the facts. Will Whitney's new husband, Butch, in 10 years, let the ex-father-in-law live in the house that he owns with his wife for free? I don't know. And he said, I think, yeah, I think she. But stuff happens, right? So don't ever be in a situation where you're giving up control, because then it's out of your control. He said, no, I'm not worried about any of that. You're not gonna die before me. And I said, well, okay, Dad, then let's just talk brass tacks for a second. You haven't sold that house yet, have you? He said, no. I said, all right, let's talk about that. If you put my name on the house, he bought a house in Pittston in 1976, 20 grand. Fair market value today, $2. If my name goes on that house, yes, If it's in my name for more than a year, I'll avoid the inheritance tax. So I'll avoid the 4.5% inheritance tax. But what's my basis in that property?
50%.
On carryover basis. It's the same basis that he had, which at most is 20. Right? We're not gonna get into all their kinds of tax stuff. We'll just call it 20 at most. When I sell it for 2, what's 200 minus 180? Wait, what's 300 minus 20? Subject to 23.8% capital gain. Now, would I have been better off paying 4.5? Getting a step up in basis to 200, and now what's 200 minus 200? 0. He goes, you mean to tell me I'm gonna have a tax bill coming like that? I said, uh-huh. He said, how come nobody told me? How come the lawyer didn't tell me? They told me to do this. And what's probably the answer? He didn't know. He didn't know. He knew that he was allowed to do something today in one land. Now, do we all agree that our clients can give everything away tomorrow if they want it? Where am I now? Long-term care, LTC, I think I can spell it. Long-term care land. I had a stroke. I'm in a long-term care facility. Now, Pennsylvania is currently one of, if not the most lenient state in the country, allowing people, particularly spouses, to protect assets if somebody's in a long-term care facility. Okay, now, let me just get this out of the way. There are 17 nursing homes in York County, 16 of 17 accept Medicaid. So let's not start only the county home, only bad care. That's not true. The best facilities in York, Brethren, Lutheran, Normandy Bridge, Misericordia, all accept Medicaid. So let's not have that argument right now. Okay, all right, thank you. But in order to do that, they're looking back how many years?
5.
And what are we looking for?
Giving away your assets.
Yeah, but that overweight curly-haired attorney, Jeff, he said that you could give away 18,000 plus 18,000 plus 18,000 plus 13.61 plus 13.61. Didn't he say it? You were at Keller Williams that day, right? Did I say it? In what land? We're not in tax land anymore, Toto. Where are we now? LPC. We're in long-term care land, right? So what's the point of this story? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Well, that's physics. But for every decision in estate planning and elder law, there is an equal and opposite consequence. So when somebody asks me whether they should add a joint owner on an account, whether they should put the kids' names on the assets, whether they should, I can't answer that yes or no, can I? Because the answer is, in tax land, here's the answer. But if you need long-term care, here's the answer. And don't forget, estate planning is about control, which you've just given up. So there's no way to answer a question like that, yes or no. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Let's just add joint owners on everything. I'm not that stupid to put the kid's name on the assets. Okay. I am a joint owner on everything. If I walk into the bank as a joint owner, what am I allowed to take out? 100%. We all agree. If my dad dies and I own half, I only have to pay 4.5% tax on half of the value of the assets. Because I own half and he owned what? Half. But the half that I owned before, I did not get a step up in basis on, did I? No, because I didn't pay the 4.5% tax. I'll only get the step up in basis on the half that my dad owned that I paid 4.5% on. So I still have that capital gains tax issue on half. What if I die first? The joint owner, I die first. What does my dad have to pay? 4.5%. I've had to make that phone call, guys. Sorry for the passing of your son. I need to remind you that you're gonna owe 4.5% tax on half of everything. What are you talking about? That was my money. What? But you added your son as a joint owner. Well, why didn't the lawyer tell me that? Probably why? Because they didn't. Right? They knew what they knew in one land and they gave the advice. Where, yep.
To that scenario, so, yeah, go back to tax land. A scenario where you are a owner with right of survivorship on a property
Yep.
with an older person, is
Yep.
that the scenario that would play out?
So if I own a house.
So I own a house with my dad, example, co-signed for it years and years ago, we still have it. You know, he's 80, I'm 41, so, you know,
Yeah,
assuming likely he will die before I do. Is there a potential tax burden there? I read about this and I didn't get a clear answer.
Yes. If you're a joint owner, you're gonna owe 4.5% on, for inheritance tax purposes on the value. And then the half that you owned, your basis is the basis that that.
Gotcha.
Now,
Okay.
if you live in it as your primary residence, then never mind. And you guys probably don't know that. Primary residence, 2 out of 5 years before the capital gains tax. But if that's not the case, then you could have it.
Effectively, you're gonna pay tax on half. The current value less the basis half.
Yes.
Okay.
Math isn't that great. Yes.
Okay,
that's correct.
got it.
He just hit. I was actually, this is like kind of where I was headed, but he just hit kind of the hardest thing in. What do you do with that? Right? Because if I have a life estate in it and I give him the remainder as the child. I have a value to my life estate. Right? There's tables that tell me what the value is to my life estate. Well, depending on my age, it very well may be fairly substantial value. So if I end up in a long-term care facility, I can't qualify because my value is over the limits to qualify for Medicaid. Which, let's just for argument's sake, call it $8,000. Well, my value in the life estate could be well over $8,000, right? So that's not a great idea in a lot of cases. The joint ownership could work out well if it was your primary residence, because
At
you
one
don't have
time it was, but not.
right, but not anymore, and maybe he moves back, I'm kidding. So this is the issue where we often go, and I'm gonna head over to estate planning land, because I'm answering this question in estate planning. Where most people go is a grantor trust, which is a trust in their social security number. That they're in charge of, that they control. That way, they get the step up in basis. They can still sell it, they can still buy another one. But because of the terms of the document, they're getting asset protection. Now, in order to get asset protection, it has to be funded for how many years? 5, right? Remember that look back?
Yeah.
So it needs to be funded in the trust for 5 years. But what that does for the parent is it allows them to remain in control, to still be able to sell it, to still be able to buy another one. But outside of 5 years, it can't be touched. Care situation. Then I don't have to worry about the son not getting a step up in basis. I don't have to worry about the life estate value. So it's just an easier way to take care of the home in a situation where we're not sure what to do. Now, he's already, you know, they've already done it. I always say, once you've committed to a plan, commit. Right? Just because it doesn't turn out the way we wanted it, doesn't mean that we made a bad decision. It means that maybe the facts didn't turn out the way that we expected them to, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with what you did.
We have his primary residence is in a trust, actually. I think eclipsed 5 years ago, we could go, but we couldn't, so the point of the control point. He wouldn't put everything in there. The house is there, but none of the other funds that he has. And so it was a real struggle in that control battle of, you know.
Just gave me one hell of an idea. Sorry. We send birthday cards and anniversary cards to our clients. I'm gonna start sending handwritten happy 5-year day when the house is protected. We have a big wagon, and every time a house goes in, we have little Monopoly houses. The client gets to put the Monopoly house in the wagon and gets to hear it, and it's piling up. Really cool. Cool for me. Did I see another hand? All right. Long-term care land, joint ownership. I'm gonna go back to the example. We know the tax rules, right? Whoever dies, the other person pays 4.5% on half. So I had a case where mother put daughter's name on the house. Daughter has a stroke. 52-year-old. Uh-oh. Daughter goes into a long-term care facility. They referred the case to us. The nursing home did. We're doing the Medicaid application. On the application, I included half of the value of the property. Or all the assets, frankly. Why half? Well, what would be taxable?
Yeah.
Okay. Caseworker calls me. She says, Jeffrey, I noticed that you accidentally omitted half of all of the assets. I said, no, ma'am. It was not accidental. It was intentional. She owned half. That's 50% according to my math. She said, oh, that's really cute. The day before the stroke, how much could the daughter have taken out of all the accounts? How much counted on the application? 100%. All right, now, mom ends up in the long-term care facility, down the hall from daughter. Nursing home refers it to me. I do the Medicaid application for mom. Caseworker calls me and says, Jeffrey, I noticed that you accidentally omitted all those assets. I said, no, ma'am. It was intentional. She said, what do you mean? I said, you already ate the pizza. If I go to my favorite pizza place and I eat the entire pizza, what's left? Nothing. I said, ma'am, you ate the whole pizza. She goes, oh, that's really cute. I said, oh, no, don't even dare say to me, what could the mother have taken out of the accounts, right? She goes, oh, I wouldn't use the same argument twice. Who contributed the money to the accounts?
Mom.
How much did mom contribute to the accounts? How much counted against mom? So I went to Marcello's that afternoon and I saw Mr. Marcello and I told him he owed me a pizza. You know what he told me? Get lost, Jeffrey. But you see what happened? They counted 100% of those assets on both applications because it was a joint owner. And see, everybody thinks it's the way to go because they don't want to take the chance on putting it solely in the child's name. But my point is, to all of the lawyers and the bank tellers and the accountants who are advising in tax land, I think we also should be advising here and here because they're all opposite results. And so that's my big thing. I just wanted to make sure that I got across was there isn't necessarily a one-size-fits-all solution. Although after 20 years, I'm finding that the trust seems to be the way that people can remain in control, get the step up, still sell it, still buy another one. But again, not one size fits all. It just depends on the situation.
Can you talk about the people obviously try to sell stuff to avoid the look back? Is there anything valuable for us there where, you know, you pay, if it sells within the look back period at fair market value and that money goes, so let's just say I buy the house from my dad.
Yeah.
And I don't pay full fair market value.
All right, perfect. You knew where I was going.
So what consequences, look, I don't know how aggressive the look backs are, but that's a situation we could see.
Yeah.
You know, where people are always trying to dodge tax land.
So let's talk about, I love that look back period, right? So one comment is the look back period has nothing to do with the penalty period. Meaning, if I do give a gift away, whether it's the value of the property, it's partial value of the property, it's a partial gift, my penalty isn't 5 years. My penalty is based upon the amount of money that I gifted, and there's a penalty divisor, and that tells me what the penalty is. So everybody assumes that you have to make it 5 years after the gift. You don't have to make it, but if you don't make it, there is a penalty. So in the situation that you said, when they calculate, look at the look back period as they put a box on the table. In the box is every transaction that has occurred in the past 5 years. Every bank transaction, every real estate transaction, everything's in the box. They're gonna see that son bought the house from dad for X dollars. What they're gonna do is they're gonna calculate based upon the tax assessment records, multiplied by the common level ratio, what the fair market value of that property is. So anything that you pay less than is the gift. And then at the time of application, they look at it and say, all right, how much was there a gift versus how much was a fair market value transaction? So the amount you paid would be fair market value.
Sure.
But you paid less than what the fair market value was, which means now there's a gift on top of it. But that only means that there's going to be a penalty on that portion. So what I mean by that is, if we're trying to look at a case where I know that you bought the house 4.5 years ago, obviously I'm making up numbers, but if I know we bought the house 4.5 years ago and I know there's a large gift that's going to be there, and I'm 6 months away from the 5-year look back period falling off, meaning they wouldn't see that transaction, I'm gonna run a bunch of numbers and determine, is it better to pay privately or to use funds in the trust or to have the son pay to get to the 5 years in one day so that that gift completely falls off? Now, obviously, that's gonna depend on how much we're paying for care, right? If we're paying $3,000 a month for care, we're probably waiting. If we're paying 20 grand a month for care, we're probably not waiting, we're just taking the penalty. Because the penalty is actually much lighter than waiting 6 months to pay for care if the care is too high. So there's certainly options there.
And I assume they use the tax assessment value from the time of the sale or?
At the time of the sale. Yeah, to determine if when you purchased it, it was a fair market value transfer. Yeah. The one comment about joint ownership on accounts. At least when you put the kids' names on it, the 5-year period ends. For joint ownership on accounts, how long can they look back to see who contributed the money to the account? Forever. How long can they make the argument of the day before the stroke, how much could mom have pulled out of the account? Forever. Right? So at least with a transaction where the property just goes, or the assets go in the kid's name, we have a definitive day when the 5-year period ends. With joint ownership, we don't get that. Now, I'm not suggesting joint ownership is bad, right? All I'm saying is we want to understand the consequences in the 3 lanes. I know I went over, Ryan, I'm sorry.
He'll attack you for food, so.
All right. Thank you very much. No, there's a couple there.
Let's give Jeff a round of applause. So, always want to bring Jeff back again. I know it's not a great conversation. If you don't ever want to deal with them with yourself, parents, grandparents, sometimes even clients, but he's here. He's great at what he does. He's exciting to watch. So keep in mind as you guys come across situations like that. Thank you, Jeff. All right, next office meeting, September 18th. We'll do our drawings real quick. So over there, we have earbuds, air fryer, $50 Amazon, $50 Visa gift card transaction monthly. What?
Let's see here.
A lot.
What do you want?
Transaction.
Martha.
She's in the bathroom, she's in here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, you pick.
I'm not doing that.
Well, real quick, can I give, while we're waiting, I actually did want to give him a shout out. Lily for sitting down with me this morning, sharing some knowledge. The fun of
Well, yeah, we're just kind of, waiting. Nope. Every time somebody talks. Hey.
You got the monthly or you got all that stuff?
I'll read the sequence because I don't want it.
Yeah, I'll wait.
So I'll just keep the order.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah, I've got a few